Cruise news time. Well, honestly, a few hours ago, I didn't think there was enough to talk about to even have a cruise news show today, but my list has gotten long. Buckle up, get some popcorn, get ready for a big old pile of cruise news. Let's talk about it. Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome back to Lido, Loca. I'm your host, Tony, here with the latest cruise news updates. Well, I've got a variety of cruise news today, and we'll just work through it. First off, Florida versus NCL, or NCL versus Florida. Let me keep you up to date. Norwegian Cruise Line sued the state of Florida over their law that prevents businesses from verifying or establishing or giving some sort of service based off of vaccine status. Norwegian Cruise Line wants to verify that all the passengers that are getting on board in Florida are 100% vaccinated, and anybody who's not vaccinated cannot get on the cruise ship, including non-vaccinated kids, and that's what they would like to do with their business, and Florida has a law that prohibits that. And so NCL has filed for an injunction against that law, and they were awarded an injunction against the law. That was big news a couple days ago. And then shortly after, the state of Florida came out and said, nope, we still believe in the law, and so we will appeal that decision to the 11th Circuit Court of Appeals. That's the update. Nothing more than that. We're waiting to see what the appeals court says. But as for right now, there is an injunction against the law in Florida, and so NCL on the 15th of August, just 4 days away, can start doing business the way they want to do business, asking everybody's vaccine status. Big story number two, another cruise ship comes on the scene for the first time ever, the P&O Iona. P&O Iona, 140 gross tons, kicked off her sailings in the UK on August the 9th, just a couple days ago. She's one of the first few cruise ships that is operating with LNG power, and so a lot of interesting things going on with Iona. I know people over in the UK are super excited. This is the premier cruise ship to jump on there, and I can't wait to see as people sail on the P&O Iona. But wait, there's more when it comes to brand new cruise ships entering the scene for the first time. MSC, the MSC Seashore, has made her appearance in the Mediterranean. I'm excited about MSC Seashore. This is the next ship that MSC really built to cater to the North American market. They're going to get the summer sailings in the Mediterranean, and then they'll be bringing the Seashore to Miami. And so I'm hoping by the end of the year, if I can fit it in the schedule, I would love to cruise on MSC Seashore. I'm a big fan of MSC. I'll do a review very soon of my time on the MSC Meraviglia. But yeah, nothing happened on the Meraviglia that would keep me from wanting to sail on the Seashore. And I just like the name Seashore. Imagine all the fun that we can have with that. So in addition to P&O Iona showing up in Europe, we also have the MSC Seashore. And I can hear a few people saying out there, oh, I don't really care about cruise ships coming online in the UK. Again, this is all about the restart of cruising globally, and it does affect the restart of cruising here in the US. The fact that cruise lines are continuing to bring on these new cruise ships that they've built and they've waited to sail, it's good for the cruise restart. So exciting times. We celebrate you, Iona. We celebrate you, Seashore. We're glad that you're here. And so let's talk about a couple cruise ships that have been built for a while that are fully and strongly back in service. We talked about it the other day. The Disney Dream is on her first voyage after the restart. So far, so good. I haven't heard anything crazy coming off of that, other than some challenging embarkation stories. I'll save that for another conversation. But yes, Disney Dream in full effect. And then an Oasis class ship is actually sailing with paying passengers. These are the world's largest cruise ships. The Allure of the Seas started her first sailing since the shutdown just this past week. So I'll say it again, it's worth it. Sometimes we forget to celebrate the small stuff. 2 new cruise ships on the scene, 2 cruise ships that we know and love in service. Cruising's back, baby. How about that? Cruising is back. Let me give a quick update on my cruise prep for going on the Carnival Mardi Gras. One of the new requirements for cruising on the Carnival Mardi Gras on the 21st of August is that I have to show up at the cruise terminal with a negative COVID test. Since I am vaccinated, I can show up with a negative rapid antigen test, and a lot of you guys have helped me out reminding me that I could get that at Walgreens or I could get that at CVS. And then ironically, Carnival came out with exactly that same guidance. While not endorsing any location, you can get them at CVS and Walgreens, is what they said in an official statement. So that's what I did. I got on the website. I'll tell you the process, because I know a lot of people are looking for the process. I jumped on the website for CVS, and I said I would like to get a COVID test. They had a little link that you could click. I clicked that. They said, would you like the antigen test or the PCR test? When I clicked that I wanted the PCR test, which is the longer test, it gave me a whole bunch of locations somewhere near my house, but I didn't really want the PCR test. I just wanted to see what that was like. And so I deselected the PCR test and I clicked the antigen test, and it gave me less options. But I found a place that's within like 35 minutes from my house that I can go get the antigen test. So I'm like, let me sign up for one of those. My cruise is on Saturday. Carnival said that if you take the test, it's got to be within 72 hours. That's caused some challenges. Like, is that like actual 72 hours? If I'm showing up at the terminal at 12 o'clock, can it only be 72 hours? They said, look, if you're cruising on Saturday, you can get the test on Wednesday. It doesn't matter what time. So that's what I did, because I want to have the most time to get my results. I signed up for a Wednesday test, and the sign-up process pretty interesting. They ask you some questions. They ask you, like, are you vaccinated? And when I said I was vaccinated, they said, well, fill this out. So I had to go get my vaccination card. I had to put in what dates I got both shots. I had to put in the flavor of vaccine that I had, and then it dropped down below that and said, hey, the tests are free, but we would like the insurance information that you have. And I'm like, okay, I guess they're going to file it with the insurance. And so then I had to provide my insurance information. After I did that, then they gave me the appointment time. I am set for my appointment. Went through the same process for Jenny. She is set for her appointment. So when it comes to preparing for our cruise on the Mardi Gras, the biggest thing that we had to do prior to getting to the cruise terminal is have the results of this test. And so we'll go through that process where we get tested on Wednesday, and hopefully by Thursday or Friday, we'll know whether or not we are negative. That's what we're hoping for. So that's the process. Now, I don't know how the results are going to come. Somebody said that CVS has an app, and they come into the app. Some people say make sure you ask for an email. And so personally, I would like to be able to print that out, and just when I show up at the terminal, go, okay, here's my negative result. Here's my vaccination card. Here's my passport. Here's my boarding pass. I would like to do that on paper. I think when I went on Celebrity, everything was digital. That worked out really well too. I didn't have to have a test, but I would like to have at least a hard copy of my test results. And if I had all that digitally, I would be fine with that also. So, quick update. That's what's going on with getting tested before the cruise. I also get asked a lot, what insurance do I normally get? I haven't got my insurance for this Mardi Gras cruise yet. Out of most of the cruises, every time except one, I've used a company called Alliance for insurance. Now, let me say this. I'm not an insurance agent. I can't definitively tell you what kind of insurance you need, and I'm not necessarily recommending a company. I'm just answering the question. Tony B, where do you get your insurance? Most of the time I get it through Alliance. I've never had to file a claim. I find the price to be reasonable. I look for certain things. I look for medical things. I look for evacuation things. They also have COVID riders in there. So it's up to you to make sure that you have everything in your insurance that you want. And some people say, well, are you required to get insurance? No, I'm not required to get insurance as a vaccinated person, but as a traveler, as a cruiser, you're kind of required to get insurance. Like, not required by any governing body, but just required by logic. Nothing is a problem until it is a problem. And if you have a problem that of that level, that's going to be life-changing money. If all of a sudden you're on a cruise ship and you have to get medevaced, that most people can't take the hit of a $30,000 helicopter ride, and so pay the $100. My last cruise, I cruised for 2 weeks. It was like $50. Pay the $50 so that you've got the insurance in case some sort of life-changing financial thing happens to you on your cruise, and it's happened plenty. Google it. Google no insurance cruisers, and you will get story after story of people who are like, yeah, man, I had a stroke, and now I can't pay any bills because I didn't have any cruise insurance. I have the insurance because that's the smart thing to do. That's the wise thing to do as a traveler. You may never use it, so you may feel like it's a waste of money, but the one time that you need it and you don't have it, you're going to wish you had it. Know that. All right, enough Daddy Tony for you. I hope you get the insurance is really what I'm trying to say. Now, I got a couple more cruise news stories. Before I get there, let me quickly invite you to subscribe. If you like staying up to date with everything that's going on in cruising, please consider subscribing with the notification bell on. That way you don't miss out on any of these episodes. Man, we just crossed another milestone, 111,000 subscribers. Thanks everybody that's a part of that number. We're at about 55% subscribed. We're trying to get that up to 60. Please be a part of that number. It doesn't cost anything, and you just get notified when the shows come out, but it helps us out. Thanks in advance. Now, the next two stories that I have are Norwegian Cruise Line story. The first one, let's talk about some interesting things that are going on financially. They just gave their earnings call, and part of that earnings call, they talked about how much more money people are spending on cruise ships now that cruising has restarted. Now, at the time they did their earnings, they just had the one cruise ship that was sailing over in Greece, over in the Mediterranean, and they're very pleased. Let me just say that. Lest you forget, cruising is a business, and most businesses are about making profit, and the more of that profit that you can make, the better. And so there's been a concern for cruising as it comes back. Will we be able to recover the billions and billions of dollars that we've lost, or the billions and billions of dollars that we've gone in debt for? How will it happen? Well, it was pretty clear even last year. Frank Del Rio, the CEO of Norwegian Cruise Line, said that the future for cruising is bright, and that they believe that people will spend even more money on their cruise ships for the return of cruising because of the pent-up demand than they did previously, and that's what they said in the earnings call the other day. Based on just some of the basic numbers coming off that first cruise in Athens, people are spending more in 2021 on the cruise than they were in 2019. Now, it's going to take a lot more data to see if that's actually trending, but it does make sense. I do believe there's a pent-up demand for cruising, and I can imagine people not worrying as much about their money once they got back on the cruise ship, just happy to be on vacation. That's a good signal for cruising. Why do we talk about that? Why do we care? Well, on the back end, on the business side, you want to see cruise lines making money. You want to see people spending their money. That's going to speak to the viability of this vacation that we all love. And so, yes, a good indicator coming out from the earnings call on Norwegian that people are spending money on cruise ships. Demand is high. That's exciting. And now let me cover what I feel like is the most exciting cruise news story today, and it may only be the most exciting cruise news story for me, but Norwegian Cruise Line has made an agreement with Starbucks to put official, legit Starbucks experiences on their cruise ships and on their private islands. Starbucks, like if you go to your local neighborhood Starbucks, you can get all the drinks that you can get there. You can get all the merch, the coffee mugs, that kind of thing, and you can use your Starbucks app. So basically we're saying taking the Starbucks experience out of your neighborhood and dropping it right into a cruise ship. And then in addition to that, their back-end coffee will be like Starbucks coffee. So the whole Norwegian fleet gonna get all Starbucksed up. Now, I know a lot of people are groaning out there, oh, Starbucks, it's, why would you pay for that coffee, blah, blah. Look, we all do things that other people don't understand, but I do have a love for coffee. Why do you drink Budweiser over Schlitz? I don't even know what beers to compare. Why do you drink Coke over Pepsi? Why do you like McDonald's over Burger King? Why do you go to, Olive Garden opposed to Nick and Jim's barbecue? We are wired for consumerism. We are wired to be manipulated. I had an advertising class one time, and they said the basic tenet of advertising was whatever you could do. Advertising defined as whatever exists to separate you from your money. And look, whether you believe it or not, we are all basically just puppets of influence. Whether it be fear, whether it be sex, whether it be logic, all of us are under constant influences that are seeking to manipulate us into one way or another. And that is no more true when it comes to marketing and separating you from your money. So all that said, yeah, they got me. I'm locked in. You say Starbucks, I say I'm happy. You say Cirque du Soleil's on a cruise ship, I'm happy. Some people, you say Coke is on a cruise ship, they're happy. You say Pepsi's on a cruise ship, you're happy. Have you ever stopped and inventoried all the things that are trying to manipulate your thought? I tell you what, if you want to go through a fun exercise an hour before bed, just sit down and try to journal out all the images, all the messages, all of the things that have tried to manipulate your thought that day or manipulate your spending that day. It'll blow your mind. It'll fill up a page. But Starbucks is one of those things that's programmed into my brain, and as soon as I saw the relationship between Starbucks and a cruise line, I'm in, baby. I am in. And look, I think it really opens up an interesting conversation, and I will kick it over to you. I know some people are good at resisting brands. I've seen that in the comments before, but I also know that there's a lot of people that are full on manipulated by consumerism. And so what brand does it for you? Is it Coke versus Pepsi? Is it Starbucks over Dunkin'? Is it Guy's Burger over a no-name burger? If you could have, what's your favorite brand? Let's see if we can get to that. What brand would you like to see represented on a cruise ship? What if somebody told you that X was going to be on a cruise ship? If it was going to be White Castle would be another one for me. If you tell me there's a cruise line that's got a White Castle burger on the Lido deck, I'm trying it. So is there anything that can be put on a cruise ship that would make it an instant try for you? That would be an interesting conversation. Thank you so much for checking out the show today. Please show your support by hitting the like button, or on your next grocery trip, they're going to overload your plastic bags, and as you're carrying them to the house, they're going to rip. You're going to have stuff. It's just me. This is Tony with Lido Loca, and until the next time, we'll see you on the Lido. Bye.